My boyfriend remembers an entire art class we took together. I checked my records, asked old friends, and it never happened, but he won't let it go, and it's making me question everything. Posted by u/thrower19202121. This is kind of weird, but I am at the end of my rope with this. Tom and I recently started dating again. Currently, we have been together for 6 months. We were a couple 3 years ago during university. We were close back then, but I ended up getting an amazing job offer from a big tech company and was required to relocate to Silicon Valley. Tom, unfortunately, was forced to look after his 2 younger siblings after his mother passed away. We ended up separating when we realized it was not going to work. Last year, I moved back home after going through a painful, failed engagement, combined with burnout and my dad not being in good health. Tom and I got back in touch, and one thing led to another. At the start of this month, I moved in with Tom after his youngest brother moved out for university. Everything was great. I was happy, and he seemed happy. Then something weird happened, and I do not know what to make of it. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about redecorating and renovating, fixing 2 decades of wear and tear. Tom offhandedly mentioned that he still had paintings we did together in art class. This really confused me. I have no memory of taking this art class, but he remembers it like it was yesterday. This led to a weird argument. I denied that it ever happened, but he would not drop it. Eventually, I just pretended to vaguely remember, just to get out of the conversation. He did not believe me and spent 4 hours digging through Facebook, his computer, and even his old cell phone. He found nothing. He seemed hurt and confused, and I begged him to just forget about it. However, this started eating at me all last week. My ex-fiancé used to do this. He would lie, give different accounts of events, or claim things happened that I did not remember. However, they were always minor, meant to hurt, and almost always nonsense. This was just weird. I ended up spending hours combing through my records and found nothing. Tom said we went and bought our supplies at a specific place, but I have no bank records of that. I have no records of this ever happening, and I even asked a few people I used to be friends with. None of them remember this. It bothered me a lot. On Wednesday, we went to Tom's storage unit to fetch some stuff, and it immediately turned into him hunting for the art. He swore he put it there. He even vividly remembers putting it in there. But there was nothing. There was some art from his family, but nothing matched what I apparently painted. Apparently, I painted some sort of cute pink donut from a gum commercial. There was also nothing matching what he painted. He then went on to vividly describe how we would go grab food before heading over to the college after a certain class we had together, but I do not remember this at all. I was annoyed, really annoyed. We had a big fight driving home, where Tom complained that I just do not remember. I told him I think he is wrong. That night was awkward, and I broke down. I told him he was wrong, and this is not going to work out if this continues. Today has been really awkward, and I feel like this stupid little thing of no significance is going to rip this relationship apart. Tom seems dead set in his beliefs. I was honestly considering that this could be a sign of mental illness, but this is the first time I have ever seen him act like this, and it bothers me so much. What am I supposed to do? I feel like even if I just finally say, "Oh yes, I remember now," it is just going to lead to a huge argument. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I do not think he is lying. I think he is having a false memory and maybe confusing you with someone else, or maybe he had such a great time in that art class that his mind inserted you into the memory because he associates you with great experiences throughout his life. I think he is having a hard time letting it go because it is making him feel crazy, and he is questioning his own sanity. At some point, we all remember things incorrectly, and it can be very disconcerting when something goes against what we know to be true. The part that bothers me is that he is absolutely sure of when this was happening, specifically that it was every Wednesday after we had a certain class. He remembers the specific class, the professor, and the fact that it ended around 6 p.m., which is 100% true. But he also remembers us going to this art class for 2 months afterward, which did not happen. I remember that class being hell, but nothing afterward, which is why I am confused. This is why it is bothering me so much. Commenter 2. That is the thing about false memories. You cannot tell them apart from real ones. My boyfriend will insert me into some of his old concert experiences, and I have to remind him I was not there. But he also realizes he may be remembering incorrectly. Sit him down and tell him you love him, and that it does not matter. You two can paint together all you want now. Update. 1 week later. I wanted to thank everyone for the advice and help. I followed the suggestions, sat him down, and explained why this was bothering me so much, how my ex used to gaslight me. He apologized and told me he must have been remembering things wrong. But it did not matter at all because we found the answer to the mystery last night when we visited his sister, and this topic came up. It turns out that his sister was the one who did the art class with him, and it was not actually at the local college but at a local craft store. She did not have the paintings, but she was able to dig up a bunch of photos of her and Tom's work, including the painting that Tom remembered. This was a weird 2 weeks, but I am glad it is over. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I did an art class with someone I love, so it must have been you. Commenter 2. This happens so much. There is a special name for it, but I cannot think of it. Your brain does not remember all the details, so it basically just fills in the blanks with what it thinks should have happened, even if it is not correct. Edit. I think people are correct in saying it is called confabulation. I remember learning about it in a psychology class. When it happens, people are not trying to lie or be deceptive, it is just the brain trying to connect the dots however it can. Some people have also mentioned the Mandela effect, and while the two are very similar, they are not the same. The Mandela effect generally affects a lot of people and is usually about an event that never actually happened but that many people believe did. Again, people are not necessarily lying when it happens. Confabulation, on the other hand, is mostly when an event really did happen, but the brain cannot recall everything, so it fills in the blanks with what it thinks fits best, even if that is not what actually happened. It is really bizarre, and I encourage everyone to read about both the Mandela effect and confabulation. Commenter 3. I do that with my sister and my husband since they are my two best friends. Last week, I told my husband, like that time we were hiking, and I had to go pee behind a bush. No, wait. I told my sister about that, not you. Dang it.